are looking for a drug program and one that would be effective. He signed the program at the bottom, and he instructed his CSWD development officer to act on this right away. All this was going on in the background of the communications with the chairman of the hospital, and they invited me to dialogue. And I went to the hospital with my wife, not the hospital, the CSWD, with my wife, and I sat with them, and I presented the proposal to the CSWD head. Well, from the beginning when I presented it to her, she was like this. Somewhat like some of you. And she kept going like that until finally she just went down. It was like a Pacquiao fight. She went down, and I just kept explaining because the others there, the ones that brought me there, they needed to know what the program was about. Anyway, a few seconds later, the director woke up. And she told me, I need you to train the pastors. She said, if you can train them, I will have the work and the people sent to them. And it was like, that week she told me train them. The following week, the pastor that I knew that got me to the 700 Club, he organized about 30 pastors. And at that point, they took a all-day course. And well, La Trinidad is a lot colder, you know, so they were quite awake. And after the training, that following week, we all marched to the CSWD together. There's about 25 pastors that were trained. They appeared there in the CSWD. And what happened, the director was amazed because she expected me to take a while to organize this and get this going. But the pastors were there, and they were now presenting themselves, and we wanted to know what to do next. And she just stood up and she said, we will have a meeting with the City Anti-Drug Abuse Council here in 2 days. So we went back again. And this time, there was the legal officer of the city mayor, the DILG representative, and the ABC president, his office, the barangay president. There's 127 barangays in Baguio City. So you imagine, that's a Goliath task. They came in, and the legal officer, not only that, they invited the, what's that group? Serenity. There's a Serenity group from Manila that was charging them money, collecting money for their program. And there was another group, Alcoholics Anonymous, and we sat down in the meeting, and they confronted me, the other group, and they more or less tried to discredit me according to this, according to their program, and I just kept my guns going. And today they are no longer operating there. It's the church has the best program right now in Baguio, and they registered. We're going to invade the schools now. And the president is about to leave to Israel. Israel? UK. UK and then to Israel, right?
Japan.
Oh, Japan, okay.
And Israel.
But in the meantime, we're still going to go forward. We signed the MOA. But what I'm getting at is this. There was no struggle there. When I went to Tarlac City, my friend was the administrator, Christian brother. He organized everything and then he resigned. He does a national program called Share in Opportunity, a Christian program, and he left. But the pastors there were somewhat, reluctant at the beginning, but they joined in. As you could see, there were 166 graduates. In Bamban, I had no pastor contact. I knew no one. Just like here, I only know Chris. But even him, I didn't know well. I just got to know him now. In Bamban, I was in Tarlac one day, and the new provincial officer, police provincial officer, visited the mayor. And the mayor introduced us to him. And while we were being introduced, the chief of police, I just bragged about the program we are beginning. And the Bamban, the provincial director invited me the following day to his chief of police meeting for the whole province. I went there, and after I presented the program, about 20 minutes, a woman asked me questions. And I just thought, the police is the police. They would never invite me to do a program in their county. But the woman that was asking me questions was an achiever. Not a Christian, but an achiever, a Catholic. Anyway, she invited me to Bamban. And the pastors there were well organized. And they were praying for their town. Tarlac, they were praying for their town. Baguio, they were praying for their town. And I see this as a link regarding this work that I'm presenting to you. I don't know how much you're praying for your city, your town. You're all from cities. Any of you from municipalities? Just you? The rest all from cities then. And, well, what I'm saying is this. All of these people were total strangers to me, except one pastor. And the vision went out. God spoke to the church, the body. And I want to encourage you because I don't know what situation you are in with your government, but you will need a government contact. Definitely. Why is because you cannot do it without a certification. I'm not making it hard for you, but I'm giving you a few guidelines so you can get this. It's very important that you have a government appointment that you can make to present this so that they can get the concept of it. It's not being done anywhere. I am not giving you a program that would be 5 sessions, 3 sessions, but I'm giving you a program that would create a harvest for the lost. But we cannot tell the government that's our plan. We're telling the government we want to get the drug addicts into our center. You gotta avoid saying church. You gotta start explaining it in our center that we are opening. You get your certificate and you say, okay, we are now planning our center. And these are the guidelines. But we would like to partner with your city. And these are the things you should tell your mayor. tell your chief of police. Try to avoid, well, they all know you're pastors. You can't avoid that. But you have to give them the understanding that you are not doing this for the kind of things they understand. You're doing this for the harvest. But you cannot tell them that. But you tell them that you want to help and we have been trained. We would like to expand this and begin this. This is the program, as I told you. I'm going to give you the 9 basic concepts of rehabilitation worldwide. Some have 21 concepts. And this is their guidelines in the lifestyle they live in the rehab. The first concept is honesty. And honesty is the key in the drug rehab program to all the concepts you need. This is the key to all the concepts. You need to be truthful with yourself, your feelings, and your friends. That's a secular view. But we know what honesty means as a Christian. Now, we must be honest. We must face things truthfully. So you will see some contrast between Christianity, Scripture, and the secular here. This is how the rehabs describe it. Okay? Act as if. What does that come to your mind? Act as if. You have any explanation for that? Act itself, the word act, means to act. Huh? As if means to act as if you're not angry when you're angry. Huh? There are so many things that they discuss related to act as if during the time they go in the program till they get out. These 9 concepts are related to them almost daily. They have what they call rap sessions. And they sit in a circle. And the topic for this session will be act as if. And everybody in the circle must explain what this concept means to them. They do this so that people can understand what they need to apply in their life. In situations that are beyond their control, they need to turn to these concepts and apply it in their life. Okay? Act as if positively, long enough, and eventually you will become. Huh? In other words, you gotta go through the motions. That's their idea of this concept. If you live good long enough, you might become a better person. It's like saying, if you took apart a watch, put it in the box, and shook it, it might get back together and work. Huh? But the chances are, it will never work again. Because watches aren't made like that. It's like saying you're a broken person, and if you keep pretending, you might become that person that's well. They believe this kind of concept. Huh? But the Bible tells us different, right? The Bible tells us what we can be. The Bible tells us about our destiny. And they stay away from any religion while in the program. When they graduate, they can go to whatever church they would like to go. In fact, the founder and the wife were devout Catholics. I found out later, when they were dying of cancer, I found this out. That they were going to church and, trying to get their life spiritually now. Number 3, sometimes it is better to understand than be understood. self-explanatory. Huh? Sometimes we need to be quiet. Then always try to get people to understand you. And many times people don't understand this, and they argue and argue until they forget what they're arguing about, and they hate each other. Hello? Families end up like that. They argue about property, they argue about this, they argue about that. Next thing you know, they're no longer a family unit. But now they're just a name. Taking the time to understand someone else and not be selfish. Care about how the next person feels. Drug addicts are cold-blooded. They steal from their parents, they lie, they cheat. And that's the lifestyle, that's the spirit. Not all of them, because some are rich to begin with. They just end up giving everything away, and at the end they commit suicide. Hello, because they cannot get out of their depression. Look at Robin Williams, the comedian. He made millions of people laugh. He was addicted to drugs. He committed suicide. While he made everybody laugh, he couldn't keep himself from being depressed. And if you go down the line, you Google how many stars killed themselves, you'll find out it's an endless list. And majority of them had some depression that they couldn't bear. They went to narcotics, sleeping pills, tranquilizers, alcohol, but nothing could get them out of that problem they had. So when you think about it, there's a lot of things involved with the addict. Intellectual trust. What does that mean? Intellectual trust. Can you give me one word that relates to that? Think hard. What's one word that you can relate to that? As a Christian, I'll give you a hint. Sometimes we go through some experience and it's totally lost. But you trust because you're faith. So when you look at that, faith has a lot to do with your intellectual trust, your heart trust. Now here it says no, impossible. But here, God is saying, take the first step. Go forward. But our intellect, our mind say, cannot be. But our heart is saying, you know what, we can do it. You can do it. And it happens. I'm sure many of you had breakthroughs in your own personal life. Breakthroughs that you know only God could have done that. This place was born on God. If not, it wouldn't be here. How many years, Pastor, it's been here? This center?
25 years.
25 years. And ministering to ministers, to missionaries. Now, somebody had to have got the vision at the same time, had to be prepared for some trials. I mean, it costs money for this. We know what ministry is like. We all spend money in our ministry. Getting from point A to point B costs you something. It's an investment. But now, 25 years later, they're still paying. They're still looking for bigger. They're still looking to reach other ministers that have not been touched by this kind of teaching. I believe this is a place that God had predestined ahead. They're not from this country. Neither am I. I cannot speak the dialogue. the dialect. He cannot speak Tagalog. But God made a way. And I'm sure you understand that, for those of you that been abroad. Some of you been abroad. You know what it's like. I was talking to that brother, I think, back here. I was talking to him. Circumstances led him back here. But that's by his choice. There are some things God is expecting us to do. Intellectual trust, putting your feelings aside and trusting intellectually. For us, it's the other way around. Right? Because intellectually we refuse. We see it, we know it cannot be done, but you know what? Our faith tells us different. That what people tell you about you and what you need to do is completely for your benefit. So in their encounters, in the midst of the yelling and putting down, shaming, in the group encounter, there's a message. And usually, the person that's going through the trials has a hard time hearing the message because of all the circumstances and the yelling. In the end, after they sit down and meditate, they find out the solution was there. And that's what they do in the encounter group. They expect you to learn how to trust and not go by your feelings. Number 5, no free lunch. What does that mean? No money, no food. Huh? What do you think about this concept? No free lunch. There is no money in the rehab, in their pockets. While they are in treatment, there is no money. They cannot have money until they go to the re-entry phase. So imagine when you hear that concept, no free lunch, what comes to your mind? Huh? So they start to train the person there, the resident, that you have to earn whatever it is you want. You have to put forth the effort with a good attitude and make the necessary changes to reach your goals, short-term and long-term. While they are in the program, they need to get involved. They cannot sit back and watch everybody busy and just say, I'm tired. Because after the second, third day, they sit in that same position. The director will come in and tell them, pack your bags and get out. Why? You're an example to the others. If I let you sit and do nothing, the others will follow you. And no matter how much others try to get encouragement to that person, if they refuse, they have no willingness to change, they will go out of the program. This concept is also used in the center you will open. Meaning if you've got a person there that doesn't want to get involved, after so many times, you will ask that person to leave. He'll be like a cancer. It's very hard because you're pastors. Grace is in action in your church. But this is not a church, the program. It's a government agreement that you will rehabilitate them. So there are some teeth to the program. If not, then it's not a program. It's just a church. You cannot endorse them as graduate because they became born again. You must graduate them on certain specific guidelines that they must fulfill. Okay, that will come in the next group of slides. Nothing is constant but change. Self-explanatory. Every day we change. Some of us get older than others. Some of us gain more weight than others. Nothing is your feelings, your surroundings, and all the events in your life, are changing constantly. Things will not always happen the way you want them to. This is why it is important to learn flexibility. These slides will be available to you tomorrow. Pastor Chris, I will give him the copies tonight, and tomorrow you can get the same presentation. So if you're having a hard time writing your notes, at least you will have the exact same presentation here. Okay? So that's concept number 6. Number 7. What does that mean? To a verse. You get out what you put in. What you sow is what you reap. Except, as a Christian, you multiply what you reap. Right? This is their concept. Expect to get back only as much as you are willing to give. If you put in 100% in effort, it will come back to you in confidence, self-worth, etc. But if you do not put in all your effort, do not expect to get out the same as if you were involved. Givers gain and takers lose. That's the secular, drug therapeutic approach. They believe in that. They just twisted a little of the scripture. But you can see the similarity with this and how they teach them in the rehab. Okay, that's number 7. Number 8. What a crazy thing. You can't keep it unless you give it away. Meaning, let me put their explanation. In order to remember what you have learned, you must constantly reinforce it by teaching and helping others what you have been taught. So it's like a pay it forward thing. Things that you learn about responsibility, things that you learn in the program should not be wasted. Meaning it should go in and it should come out in action. At the same time, you should be capable of explaining it to the other person. And this is where I surpassed many people. In my first year, I was promoted there. I became the highest resident in a pre-staff position because I could comprehend a lot of these things. And they taught me how to be responsible for details. So, this concept is very important in the lifestyle of the residents of the rehab. Last concept. Is that in the Bible? Am I my brother's keeper? After the death, right? You are your brother and sister's keeper. When I was there was no word sister's keeper. It was just, you are your brother's keeper. But they fixed it after a while. You are accountable for others' action. This is the older brother in the program. They should be responsible for the new people. Making sure the next person is pulled in, meaning helped out. That's a concept rehabs use, pulled in. Meaning bringing them into the program properly. The next person is pulled in right and is told what they do is wrong, if they're doing something wrong, making them aware that it is for their own benefit and giving them conditional concern versus unconditional concern. No matter what you do, it's okay for me. That's the don't care attitude. When the program has a don't care attitude, they shut down the program, meaning all responsibilities of kitchen, yard, maintenance. They shut down the whole program, and they don't allow people to laugh, to joke. And they must be serious. And for the time they wake up, 5 a.m., until the time they go to bed, maybe 12 or 1 a.m., they must be cleaning, working, doing menial jobs. That is called a house band. House band. That is when the whole house has not been living up to the expectation of the program. And that's the time when it's a necessary tool. I've been through, I think, 3 house bands in my time there. They usually give a house band when the house is really, really in bad shape. And the program that, when I was there, some of the people usually, they leave. They call it quits. Because it's no longer a holiday and a party in the program. They're not taking it seriously, and they end up saying, I want to leave. And they leave. They give up. In some cases, those that were part of the cancer of that program, the director throws them out. Gets them to go out. You're not good, get out. And you can see like 5, 8 people at once, get out. And that's the way to do it. No, although it's a family concept, when it comes down to the group being dealt with as far as discipline, they will take the worst ones and tell them to get out. And it's like a cleaning process. And it's very critical, that program, that tool, but they use it. I think that's their goal in rehabs is to reprogram you to make better choices through disciplinary teachings. If you notice, I talked about discipline, disciplinary actions. What happened when you're not living up to the expectation? They will give you encouragement by putting some corrective disciplinary action on you. If you get up late and you report to the house late, the following day they'll have you get up 4 a.m. and report to the house. If you're late again, they will fire you from your job. And they will have you stay awake until everybody goes to sleep. Then 2 hours later, they'll send you to bed. And they'll do this for a week, 2 weeks. It's called disciplinary action. If you cannot learn just by having your rights and freedom altered, then you'll never make it in society. Because in society, nobody will be telling you what to do. And because they've been bankrupt in their lifestyle, they've been down at the bottom of their life, now they come in the program, they should have the willingness to change. If they come into your center and they want to just sit there and they don't participate, then you would have to give them some alternative. And it's hard for a church. I got into a discussion with one of the biggest churches in Tarlac. They wanted, I have imposed on the churches to give a drug test randomly. And during that time, the government holds a evaluation invites all the drug centers to bring all their clients. And we had about 170 originally attending the evaluation. And what happened, one church told me that 2 of their members did not come because they're afraid. And I said, why are they afraid? They've been in your program 2 months already. It's their evaluation now. And he said they're afraid because they took drugs and they would fail the drug test. And I told them, if they know they took drugs, they confess to you they took drugs, and they know they will fail the drug test, they have to go back to zero, back again, and start the program again. That's one of the guidelines. So he said, okay, nothing about it. And after the evaluation, we have a meeting for graduation. He came in and he told me, Lemton, I would like to ask this question in front of the chief of police. And he said, my 2 people that were going to fail in the drug test, the random drug test, he told me, they passed their drug test in the government facility. But they took it on their own terms. Meaning, they're supposed to fail during the evaluation, but now, 6-8 days later, their urine is clean at their own, how would you say it? At their own agreement, they went to the government drug testing center. They took their drug test and they passed it. That's not in the policy that I made. Now, if you look at it, the pastor was actually lying for them, which is not good. In other words, in the world of drugs, there is enabling and disabling. As long as you support their addiction, you are enabling them to continue. And if you talk to any doctor related to drugs, and you ask about enabling, they will tell you all the things families do to enable their addicted son or addicted husband. For instance, if a guy gets money from his mother, right? In many cases, the mother don't want to give it because of the fact that she knows he's going to get drugs. But he makes a tantrum. He starts yelling in the house. He starts threatening his younger siblings. So the mother says, okay, here, you just go. She's enabling him because of fear for their life. And there are many parents that don't want to use tough love. They call that tough love. If you stop enabling them, they will either come to an end of their drug addiction because they have no sponsor anymore, or they will go out, and God forbid if they will get into a robbery or cheating somebody. But you know what? As long as you enable them, they will never get out of that. They will continue to be addicts at your expense. Okay? Family base, their goal in the rehab, they call it family. They call the program family. When they wake up in the morning, they have a morning watch. They call it a